we have the 33 car of Don Garthley, of course, and the 121 of Shane McNally. On the second row, the 72 car, Samantha Gowns, and the 46 of Sean Andrew. And way back in the field there, the 13 car of Scott Palmer. Okay, off they go off the front of the grid.
Who's in 13, sorry?
Scott Palmer.
Scott Palmer's off there. Yeah, Scott Palmer. Remember Scott Palmer?
Yeah.
Scott Palmer, kids. Remember Scott Palmer.
So 33, Don Garthley. He's leading them away, and Scott Palmer's a long way back down the field, but he's working his way through with that thing on the roof of his car. Don Garthley.
Especially sponsored by New World.
Yes.
Scott Palmer is New World.
That's pretty cool. So 33, Don Garthley leads them across the start-finish line, followed by Shane McNally there, third place at the moment. The 77 car of Corey Schumacher. Plenty of action further down the field. The 32 car of Levi Angau involved in a bit of biffo there with the 22 of Brandon Schumacher. But out front, it's Don Garthley in the Charger leading them through. Of course, they're racing the wrong way round, which Streetstocks are prone to do from time to time, unwinding the track for us. We've got the 36 car there of Nigel Thomas having a bit of trouble coming out of turn 2, and there's been a bit of a bingle down, in a major bingle actually, down in what's not Mastercard turn 3 and 4, is it? It's the turn 3 and 4 when they go the other way. There's several cars around there. 32 Levi Ango involved in that. The 22 car of Brandon Schumacher and the 83 of Aaron Tranter involved there too. See 1NZ. Dave McSherry tooling around there with Levi Angau, and he's being largely left alone. We've got one up the wall there in turn 3. That's the 72 car, Samantha
Scott Palmer going.
Scott Palmer's doing really well. We'll catch him soon. We've got Don Garthley there in the lead from McNally with the 147 car of Mackay in 4th place. Toby McClanahan, the 3NZ car in 5th. Garthley's just gone round there. And following up there, going across start-finish at the moment, or just about to as they go red, is the 13 car of Scott Palmer.
So just remember, kids, we want you to remember the name Scott Palmer. There's a reason for that, and that's why I've mentioned it 65 times. And he's sponsored by New World Kaiapoi. So just remember those 2 facts, and it might get you something a little bit later on, okay?
Absolutely. So we've got a red there where we deal with Samantha Gown's car, just on the entrance to turn 3 as they race this way around the track. And they're just going to tow that car off there. We'll have a quick look. We've completed 4 laps. The 77 of Corey Schumacher is the lead car, we think, and that's down in turn 1 at the moment. So the Kimco comes onto the track just to have a bit of a look at things. Well, there's a few parts fallen off cars there that they need to come and collect. So again, big thank you to CMG, Cochrane Motor Group, for lending us the Kimco. It's been a big help here at Woodford Glen this season. And of course they lent us the Photon Tunland as well that you saw Steve Lennon driving around.
You can lend us a car, bro?
Yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Hey,
some sort of commentator machine. Yeah.
Why buy it? We can lend it.
Yeah. So the Photon Tunland, fantastic ute out there, tons of power, tons of value, tons of technology and tons of space.
It's got a Cummins diesel on it, eh?
Yeah, it does.
That's like a big boy's motor.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty cool car, and Ivan's been driving it, reckons it's very comfortable inside, and it's only $24,339 plus GST and on-road costs. Cheap. So go and see the guys at CMG, tell them you heard about it at Woodford Glen, they'll give you a good deal and it helps us out too. Bit of a false start there for Scott Palmer, but he's away again now as Don Garthley gets back round the right way too. Big gaggle of cars going down past the grandstand, down the front straight there, and Levi Angau just holding them up a little bit. Dave McSherry running the inside line past him, and we're 3 wide with the race leader, the 77 car, coming through turn 4 at the moment. So back out front, it's definitely Corey Schumacher, no one near him at the moment. It's Shane McNally, I think, in now up to 2nd place. It is, with Toby McClanahan in that bright yellow 3NZ car starting to make his way up through the field also. Plenty of cars coming through turns 3 and 4 at the moment, led by Levi Angel, but Schumacher's right there in the 77 car, and he's got Dave McSherry on his tail. A little bit of smoke coming out the back of the 77 car as he breaks into turn 1 there. Oh, we've got one round there, that's 36 car of Thomas. McNally's got caught up in that as well, with the car sideways in front of him. That was the 22 of Brandon Schumacher. No, it wasn't, it was the 27, I beg your pardon. And but still our lead is the 77 car of Corey Schumacher, completed 7 laps now, and working his way through turns 1 and 2, what we call Mastercard, and passing Levi Angau as he goes down past the grandstand at the moment. So he's got clear track in front of him now. As long as he can stay out of the clutches of the Angau car, he should be all right as he comes across start-finish line now. Looks as though second place is going to be Toby McClenaghan in the 3NZ car. Indeed it is. Third place is 13 car of Scott Palmer, and he's doing a good job there racing through Mastercard at the moment, but a long way off the lead car of Schumacher. So Corey Schumacher, one of those drivers who's definitely improved in this grade as the season's gone on, and he certainly deserves a race win here. I hope he can bring that car home. We've completed 9 laps now. Toby McClenaghan, another big improver. We've had a bit of action down there involving the 23 car by the look of it, 21 car of Daniel McNally.
M36 is parked up in the wall there, Nigel Thomas as well.
Yep, so there's plenty of spinning going on through that turn, but most of the rest of the cars are taking it nice and steady through turns 3 and 4. So we're just, I'm not quite sure how many laps we're going to go here. We've gone 10, it looks like we're going to go 12, doesn't it? The white flag's going to come out next time round. 2NZ, Steve Peterson running in 8th place there at the moment, just behind Kieran Skur, and they're tucked in behind 44C of Parks and Brendan Mackay in the 147 car. So here's your white flag, comes out for your race leader now, getting a bit smoky there as he goes down the back straight, but he'll probably be able to bring that car home. Corey Schumacher, be a good win for him if he does. Second place car at the moment on the track, still Toby McClenaghan, far enough away from Schumacher, I think that Schumacher's not going to have to worry too much about that. Scott Palmer closing up on the back of McClenaghan. Will we see a pass here for second place? Looks as though Palmer's trying his best, but both cars getting pretty taily through turn 4, and neither can make much happen. So there's your race winner, Corey Schumacher, the 77, the 3NZ of Toby McClenaghan in second place. Scott Palmer in third place in the 13C car, sponsored by New World. The fourth place, the 33 of Don Garthley, Brandon Mackay in 5th, Damien Parks in 6th, Kieran Skur, Steve Peterson, Sean Andrew and Kirk Aldridge round out the top 10.
Had a good field of Streetstocks tonight as well, well over 20 odd, 26 I'd say round about, and Corey Schumacher, fastest lap for him was a 20.
There, the 13 car, the New World Kaiapoi car of Scott Palmer. The 54 car tucked in there, of course, is Kirk Aldridge, brother Kirk, and the 83 car there of Aaron Tranter as well. But we haven't got time to go through the rest of this enormous field of Streetstocks because they are up and racing, and already racing the wrong way on this track into turn 1 and 2, Mastercard. And Scott Palmer and Dave McSherry have opened up a little bit of a lead on the rest of the field with the 25 car there of... is that 25 or is that the 72 of Gowns going through? Anyway, so we've got Scott Palmer seems to have the lead in that 13 car, and he's just ahead of Dave McSherry there. The 22 car that Brandon Schumacher had got a bit pushed around in that first heat, but boy, he's having a good crack here in the second heat. The 2NZ of Steve Peterson has managed to come through to third place with Don Garthley in the 33 car in 4th. The 77 car there of Corey Schumacher is there or thereabouts as well, knocking on the back of Levi Angau in the 32, and there's Brandon Schumacher, and Angau just gets pushed around into the infield there, but he's going to rejoin very quickly. And a bit of action as Scott Palmer tags the wall coming out of turn 2 there, but he manages to keep going okay. Don Garthley coming through the inside there, putting a bit of pressure on Palmer now, and the 2NZ of Steve Peterson. Peterson's found his mojo after the previous race where he didn't make much of an impact, and he's just managed to push through to the lead. Toby McClenaghan in that yellow 3NZ car, he's just got pushed to the infield and spun up, but he's back in the race again now. So as they come through to turns 3 and 4, it's Steve Peterson who seems to have the race lead. The tail of the car is getting a little bit wide there coming out of turn 4, but he's gathered it back up. The 1NZ car of Dave McSherry there, right on his tail as well, and Garthley as well. We've got one up the wall there. Is that the 83 car of Aaron Tranter, I think, riding the wall through turns 3 and 4, and we've got that yellow car of the 83 of, or 82 of Graham Jackson, is it?
85.
85, thank you there, of Tristan Sargent, had a bit of a spin up there as well. Meanwhile, out front, it's the 2NZ car going through turns 1 and 2 at the moment, and we've got one up the wall there. That's Shane McNally, is it? The 121, courtesy of that red car there, Kirk Aldridge. So good, thank you, Jace, for spotting that. Plenty of action at both ends of the track at the moment. We've gone red.
Well, that was really a no-brainer. That one sort of just didn't give them much of a chance to get off the wall, really, did they?
Well, they didn't. It's interesting, wasn't it? They went red for a car that actually come off the wall. So there we go. Shane McNally obviously keen to carry on, probably keen to encounter Kirk Aldridge on the next lap around. We've got another one round there too. That's the 21 of Daniel McNally, I think. Meanwhile, out the front of the race and crossing the start-finish line now, Dave McSherry has got to the lead ahead of the 2NZ car of Steve Peterson. We've got one going backwards there. That's McNally, Daniel McNally in the 21. Parked up neatly on the infield there, having come off the wall. We're 3 or 4 wide coming out of turn 3 and 4 at the moment, with Toby McClenaghan trying his best to get back into the race. A bit more action for Tristan Sargent coming out of turn 2 there. Meanwhile, Steve Peterson doing his best to chase down Dave McSherry, who's barely a car length ahead of Peterson in the lead, with Garthley in a close position for third place there as well. We got...
There's a bumper right smack off coming off turn number 4, racing opposite direction. Set there on the track there, Tony?
Oh yeah, okay, so just behind the pole where I'm sitting, but yes, if I move slightly sideways I can see it.
And that come off the 54 car of Kirk Aldridge. He's using the bumper in this one, the JG Bird sponsored machine, I tell you. He's
going
21 and 32, and there's a few boys doing some damage, and Tristan Sargent looks like his bum's got a problem. On the car, that is.
Yeah, well, that's something certainly you're very familiar with, Jace. So it looks as though Kirk Aldridge is being told to go to the infield, probably because of a loss of a bumper. I guess his argument would be, I don't have to.
Angela. Ange.
So I'm not sure if that's Jace farting or what.
No, I'm taking the pee out somewhere.
Okay. So we're looking for our leader, which we believe to be Dave McSherry there, and he's just come across the start-finish line now with Steve Peterson hot on his tail, and that bright green 33 car of Garthley tucked in just behind them as well. So there's your top 3 in this race, just coming out of turn 2 at the moment, side by side for the lead, McSherry and Peterson. Plenty of action still further down the field as well, with cars racing 2 and 3 wide coming out of turns 3 and 4. Peterson's run up the inside and just managed to get his nose in front. Dave McSherry running the outside line at the moment. Neither of these two really keen to put each other round. I think they're just enjoying the racing. And Garthley's right there. Should either of them spin up, Garthley will be right in the mix for the lead of this race. So Steve Peterson completed 9 laps. This will be 10 laps as he comes round now, with Dave McSherry on the outside and Don Garthley making a bit of a challenge up the inside as well. Just neck and neck, nothing between these 3 for the lead. The 22 car there goes for a bit of a journey to the infield onto turn 2, and we've got 77 Corey Schumacher going across the start-finish line now. White flag is in the starter's hands, and he's just waiting for the lead cars to come across the line. A big battle between Garthley and the 1NZ car there. Almost sees McSherry up the wall, but that allows Steve Peterson to get away and open up a bit of a lead on this white flag lap. Was that another car into the wall there? That's the 83 of Aaron Tranter. And we've got the Tristan Sargent holding things up round there. But meantime, Steve Peterson, no trouble to come through turn 4 and take that checkered flag. We've got one in the wall up there. We've got Don Garthley just about to go round on the start-finish line, courtesy of Dave McSherry. I bet Dave enjoyed that. And we've got another one going round there. That's the 36 car of Nigel Thomas. I think we've got to check out the 121 car there of Shane McNally.
Look at the damage. What pees me off is they've got the cameras here tonight. This is probably one of the best street stock races I've even had of the New Zealand title. This is probably one of the best street stock races. Everybody's in it.
They are. Well, you see, it's the end of the season, Jace. You know,
off-season to fix it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. These guys just want to go out there and have some fun.
Well, there's a good crowd here to watch it too. I hope you're enjoying the racing at AmPro Woodford Glen Speedway, because you surely wouldn't be enjoying the commentary.
Big thank you to Christchurch Glass, of course, for bringing us this modified Invasion. And we're going to have a big ramp race derby at the end of the night as well.
How many cars have we got?
No idea, because I haven't seen an entry list. Normally Steve gives us...
Where's the keys to your car? Go and pop the windows out. Hang on.
Hopefully there'll be an entry list for us at some stage. Otherwise, we'll just be telling you the numbers of the cars, not the names. So we're checking out Shane McNally there, making sure he's okay.
I'll tell you what, there's been some flaming big hits here. 54 Kirk Aldridge, he's parked in the infield now. The one that amazes me that still keeps going is the 85 car, Tristan Sargent. By George, that's had some attention, but it's still going around there. And he's done a fantastic job of holding it off. Meanwhile, 1NZ and also Don Garthley having a great wee battle here as well. Garthley tried to chuck him in the wall just in front of us here.
Yep.
And didn't quite work out that well. Sort of a wee bit of a tap, but nothing major. And of course, then he got him back. A beautiful move. coming off turn 4, racing that opposite direction. So I think that's the checker that will come out now because I just want to keep this program going. Of course, there's a fair bit of action still to come here at AmPro Tills Woodford Glen Speedway. That was only event number 13 of 22.
So, lining up off the front of the grid there, we've got the 82 car, Graham Jackson, alongside the 84 of Matthew Richards, tucked in behind the 147 there of Brandon Mackay, the Gem Builders car, alongside the 44 car of Dan Parks. 2NZ, Steve Peterson, he's hopped out of the A grade and hopped into the Streetstock, at least we assume it's him. The 3NZ of Toby McClanahan's there as well. Tucked in behind him is the 77, Corey Schumacher, and the 43 car of Kieran Skur. We go back to the 32 of Levi Angau and the 46 there of Sean Andrew, and the rest of them tucked further back. Zippy waves his flag, Brian waves his, and we're racing Streetstocks for the last time in the 2014-15 season. Steve Peterson getting a bit of a nudge there through the middle of the pack, trying to work his way through, and Brandon Mackay getting well and truly into some of the other cars and into the wall there as well. Scott Palmer and the 13s come to a sudden halt on the pole line there, heading one of those spun up cars. But out front it looks as though Toby McClanahan, the new 3NZ, proudly wearing that number from Woodford Glen, he's got the lead in this one. We've got one pushed into the wall there, that was the 46 of Sean Andrew, and Garthley coming through in that green Charger as well. Toby McClanahan leads them through 1 and 2. Going down the back straight now. Oh, a big hit there by the 43 car of Kieran Skur, and all sorts of mayhem down the back straight now as cars scatter to try and avoid the spun up machines. Most of them do. No big hits there, fortunately. So Toby McClanahan out front, building a lead now of almost the length of the front straight. The 2NZ of Steve Peterson doing his best to chase him down. 77 Corey Schumacher's hard on the back of Peterson's car. And then we got a long gap back to the 33 of Don Garthley, the 44 of Dan Parks. We've got the, which car's that there? The Levi Angau car. Oh no, that's Kirk Aldridge, the 54, the red Kirk Aldridge car running strongly there along with the 147 of Brandon Mackay. So Toby McClanahan looking comfortable enough as he leads them through, but Steve Peterson gradually closing the gap on that yellow 3NZ car. You get the feeling before long Peterson's going to be running alongside him or even trying to turn him around. Corey Schumacher tucked in behind Peterson there as well. I'm sure he'd like nothing more than to spin up the 2NZ or 3NZ cars in his last meeting at Woodford Glen for the season. A long way back from those three. Garthley's fallen back into the clutches of Parks in the 44 car, who's taken over that 4th spot. And there's a big hit on Garthley there from Mackay. Mackay goes hard into the wall. Garthley gets turned around and is going backwards and manages to get out of the way of Levi Angau and Kirk Aldridge, who are having their own battle. Well, we've got a wheel off there. We've got a tyre off Levi Angau's car, and we've gone red.
It's beating them all. It's going into Masterguard.
Yes, I don't think it's seen the red light. It's got to stop. I think the referees will have something to say to that tyre.
I'd say.
So the Kimco speeds over to turn 3. You can get a sense of the speed of that Kimco there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
They're a great thing, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, speaking of speed.
Oh dear, no, you wouldn't speak. wouldn't speak this man's name and speed in the same sentence, would you? So there's the Kimco retrieving Levi Angau's wheel there in turn 3. And hopefully we'll be able to get this race back underway shortly. Of course, Angau will have to get towed off, I think. Otherwise, he's going to make great big trench marks in the clay as he goes round.
See, the axle was still attached there, so it's obviously popped out of the diff housing, that's why we have good sized safety fences so they don't bounce over. The last thing we need is a wheel to come off. And
no, you don't.
No.
So just a short delay there while we deal with the Angau car. The Angau family, of course, big supporters of Woodford Glen. They've been involved in the Streetstock grade for as long as I can remember, and involved in several other grades as well. We've seen them involved with the stock cars too, haven't we, in the recent seasons too. Pat, of course, racing in both grades from time to time. Haven't seen much of him this year though.
No, he's just come out on the odd time. Now living over in Westport, working over there for Canterbury Water Blasts. Set up over there, from what I'm led to believe, and he's doing a bit of racing over there. So I actually see Pat is wandering around tonight. So they obviously just come over for the weekend.
Oh, cool. Yep, no doubt watching his boys racing out here. So we've just got a short delay while they work out how to hook up this car. I'm sure it can't be that hard. You hook up the back of the car and tow it off, don't you?
Well, yeah. your reverse in, chaps, and put a chain round the rear bumper. Unless he wants to carry on racing, of course.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit difficult when you've only got 3 wheels, isn't it? I mean, it's not a 3-wheel race. There we are. Well, he's certainly mobile under his own power.
Yep.
And as I correctly predicted, he's ploughing the track for us by doing that. Spins it up nicely for you on the infield.
Victory Donuts, he won that battle.
Little pirouette there. All he needs is the ballerina skirt and it would be a complete picture, wouldn't it? Okay.
Just while we've got a wee break there quickly, any Derby drivers remaining out in the arena, please head to your cars with your keys, helmet, gloves, neck brace and etc.
If you leave the etc. behind, you ain't going to race. So there's Levi Angel, just showing you, so everyone can have a little look at that missing wheel, the wheel arch there. Right, it looks as though the reds are in, the red lights go out, we wait for the greens to come on, they do, and we is racing again. Steve Peterson, that 2NZ car, and Toby McClanahan, the 3NZ car, running out of turn 2 there, and McClanahan gets ahead in that 3 car, and Peterson's got to hunt him down now. A little bit of action going on in front of them with, looks like Scott Palmer having a bit of a battle there with the 22 of Brandon Schumacher. So these two got to negotiate those back markers. Third place car at the moment, Corey Schumacher, the 77. Well, there's Scott Palmer goes round, and obviously too many Easter eggs there for him. Thank you, Kaiapoi New World, for those. Toby McClanahan very cautious about going around the 22 car, but the 22 car pulls to the infield, so that solves that particular problem for Toby, and he's now managing to hold off Peterson by just a car length or 2. Big hit by on Scott Palmer there by Brandon Mackay in the 147, driving him into the wall, and the lights have gone red, presumably for that.
I would say that's for the window net, because when he went in there and hit the wall, you can see the driver's window nets pop down. So
has to.
These guys aren't allowed to race with it. So with it down, I should say, it's got to be up. So if they go over, your arms don't come out the window.
Right, okay, that's a good safety point.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say where you're... Hey, for those people that are junior members out there, if you haven't picked up your Easter egg packs, please make your way over to the souvenir stand and do it now. So anybody, junior members that are out there, make your way over to the souvenir stand to get your pack. Is that you? You're a junior, Ivan?
I am, actually. There is an Ivan McPhail Senior.
Is there? Oh, well. Okay. Don't know what to say to that, other than perhaps congratulations or sympathies. Right, so the lead car there, there's still the 3NZ of Toby McClanahan and the 2NZ of Steve Peterson battling away, just coming across start-finish now. And that's the lead of your race. Corey Schumacher in the 77 car tucked in third place there. So there's your top 3 cars coming out of turn 2 at the moment, all racing for position. We've got a little bit of action further down with Dave McSherry and Kirk Aldridge there, and Don Garthley having a good race there too, leaning just a little bit on Kirk Aldridge as he comes out of turn 2. So another lap ticked off. That's 9 now for McClanahan. He's only just fractionally ahead of Peterson, but he seems to have enough pace to just maintain that, with Corey Schumacher in third there, unable to make much of a dent on those 2 in front of him either. So we're going to wait for the see if the white flag comes around this time. No, we've got another couple to go before that happens. Toby McClanahan there with a good race advantage over Steve Peterson. Peterson hugging the pole line, McClanahan pretty much in the centre of the track, and Corey Schumacher doing his best to hang on to those 2 as well. Further down the field, Don Garthy there just ahead of the 43 car of Kieran Skur, and Kirk Aldridge tucked in as well there with the 44 of Parks. Garthley goes round, courtesy of Kieran Skur, and it looks as though Kirk made an attempt on Parks there too, but misjudged it. So last lap this time round with the white flag out, Toby McClanahan's got the lead. He's going to work his way past Garthley, I think, to have to get to the start-finish line, and Steve Peterson hoping to chase him down. But I don't think much is going to happen there. Corey Schumacher in a desperate last effort to get on the back of Peterson's car. But Toby McClanahan, your 3NZ, proudly takes this race win from the 2NZ of Steve Peterson. Corey Schumacher in third place. And we'll wait a long time for the next car to come across the start-finish line. It will be the 43 of Kieran Skur, followed by just the 44, Dan Parks. 54, Kirk Aldridge in 6th place. The 7th place, Dave McSherry, followed by Brandon Mackay, Don Garthley, and that's going to be your top 9.